And I am super excited, y'all, to be back into the studio, season 2 of What's Good from the Desk of the Podcast, or the Desk of the Therapist, rather. But without further ado, I am even more excited about my special guest today. And so I'm going to ask her if she will please join me and introduce herself to the group.
Good morning, everybody. What's good? Hope you're having an amazing day. Thank you for having me on, Kamika. Excited to be here with you this morning.
Hey, cousin.
Hey, cousin.
Yeah, this is my cousin. And when I tell you, I am so appreciative of her making time for little old me. Not only that, as you all can see, my first virtual guest all the way from Charlotte. Charlotte, stand up, right?
Stand up.
Charlotte, stand up. But she has an amazing story. You have an amazing story. And I wanted to ask if you would be kind enough just to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, how you're known, and some of your achievements that you have.
Absolutely. I'll be delighted to do so. So I am Shumon Hudson. A lot of people still know me as Shumon Spears, even though I have been married for 12 years now. But that's a family name for me. My dad's last name. Born and raised here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a mom of 4 amazing young kings. I am a wife. I am a best-selling author, Amazon 2 times, as well as a motivational speaker. So I speak in a variety of different areas, such as self-esteem after divorce, single motherhood, blended families, marriage still works, in a variety of different areas, as well as I'm a vocalist. I think most people probably knew me as a vocalist before anything else. I've been singing in the church, since I was as they say, I taught and still singing. But outside of that, I am in the biopharmaceutical community. For my career, I'm a senior director, as well as having my own business under Hudson Enterprises as a consultant, helping build out patient support programs. So I do have my bachelor's in healthcare administration, my master's in organizational leadership. So I wear many hats, and it's what keeps me going. I like to say it keeps me young, so we're going to keep doing it as long as we can.
Girl, and you know what's interesting here in our family, not only is it amazing to be able to wear that many hats, and I always say to whom much is given, much is required, but when we look at within our family, it's very comparable in terms of achievements and accolades. And I don't know if it's just in the genes or what, but we'll take it, right? But I'm super proud of you, super proud of you. I have nothing but great respect and great admiration and love for you. But I want you to take us back just a little bit, if you will, because this journey of success, as I call it, is important, right? And I think that it could be impactful and influential amongst our audience when we talk about lifing and being in those places where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you might want to give up. So if you don't mind, just backing up just a little bit to when you found out you were getting divorced from your first marriage. What did that look like and what was that impact on you? And then just walk us through that journey.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to go back just a little bit before that, because I think that really kind of helps tell the story. So growing up, I had both my parents. They loved me dearly. I had a really great childhood. However, during that time frame, I did suffer from self-esteem issues. Like I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel comparable to other young ladies that I encountered when I was in school. I was bullied in middle school. And so I think that played a major role for me into building who I was as a person. And I accepted more and dealt with more than I should have, just for wanting to be accepted, right? So in that phase, going into my college years is when I met my first husband, and we, started dating and got married, some years after that. And so he is the father of 3 of my 4 young kings. And so during that time frame, I allowed him to, and I say I allowed because only I can allow something to be done to me, but me accepting those things. But I allowed him to change up who I was.
Yeah.
I was not confident enough in myself in those years to say no, that's not something I want to do, or that doesn't fit the fiber of who I am. All the way down to how I dressed, what I wore, what I said, how I talked, and all these types of different things that excuse me, I was dealing with then. I didn't realize at that time that I was going through emotional abuse, right? But you live and you learn. And so going through that, he did commit adultery during our marriage, and at that time, I had literally not too long had my youngest son, and I did go through a period of attempted suicide. A lot of
Mm,
people don't know that. I literally ran water in the tub, wrote a note for my mom, my parents to say, hey, take care of my kids. I can't do this anymore. I
mm,
literally got in the tub and allowed myself to go under the water. And at that time, before I took that deep breath, I heard God tell me, you know me better than this. Get up. And so from that really kind of started my journey of knowing who I was as a person, what made me tick, what makes me happy. And from that point, I decided this is not a relationship that I can be in any longer. Um, I thought, so, like I said, seeing my parents together, my parents have been married for almost 50 years now. And so seeing that, that's what I grew up seeing. And that's the type of wife that I was, trying to be. He did not have that experience. So that's not the husband he knew to be. So we were not equally yoked. And so, going through that divorce period, it was hard. It was really hard. It was, he brought me down to dust. And I literally felt like I was nothing. And it took a little bit at a time,
mm.
just getting back to myself, um, getting back really into church, understanding, scripture, what that means to me, what I needed to be for my children, and even explaining to them none of this is their fault. They didn't have anything to do with the decision of us no longer being together. And as they grew older, just apologizing to them for the mom that I was at the time, because
Yes.
I was going through some things, and I allowed that to take over me being a mom to them. Um, and I owed them that apology. At that time, you grow in different phases in your life,
Absolutely.
and as I again kind of grew into who I was, what makes me happy, doing what I want to do, finding the peace in my life, is when I met my now husband, and I call him the keeper of my heart, because he literally rebuilt my heart. He really, cared for me, and internally, he cared for my mind, he cared for my physical, he cared for my emotional, and he was patient. And not only that, he accepted my young kings as his own, very early on. So um, there is there is hope after divorce. There is love after divorce. Like I said, we've been married now 12 years. It's been some of the best 12 years of my life, being
Yes.
able to experience true love again in someone who is equally yoked, who also loves God. um, and he brings that into how he loves me.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I had all kind of emotions going through that with you. But I want to say, going back to the apology with your boys, right? What was the why behind that? And you spoke about it a little bit, but how much weight did that carry? Was it impactful? How did they receive it? Was there judgment? What did that look like?
So it carried weight for me, because I felt there were times where I knew that I yelled at them, not because it had anything to do with them, because of something that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
There were times when I knew my patience was short, not because really of anything that they were being regular children, but my patience was short because I was still dealing with something, within myself. I took the time to explain to them actually what happened between their father and I. And this was they were, gosh, older. When I say old enough to understand, they were like 15, 16, in that age range. And I literally walked them through, what happened, and, why we ended up deciding to end our marriage. And um, I apologized to them for not being able to give them the lifestyle that I envisioned for them,
Yeah.
with a two-parent household. apologize for flying off the handle because I was still internalizing something that their father had done to me, had nothing to do with them. I think it helped a lot for them to know or see. They saw me not just as mom; they saw me as as a person, and that mom's not always going to do it right. Mom's not always going to have all the answers, but she's trying.
Absolutely.
She's giving you what she has at the time. And so they did appreciate and respect the apology. Um, they appreciated and respected where we were in our lives at that time because they had some backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they saw why I encouraged them to make sure they had certain skills, learned certain things, um, presented themselves as a young man in a certain way, because I didn't want some of those same characteristics that hurt me for them to pass that on and hurt another one.
Absolutely. 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 So was there a therapeutic component to your healing process, and what did that entail?
I'm gonna tell you what. So writing my chapter in the book Evolve, was
Yes.
the first project. So writing my chapter in the book Evolve gave me a healing I didn't realize I needed. Um, it made me go back and think about some things that I had blocked in my mind that I had forgotten had happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me deal with those things. It made me address those things and no longer have them stuffed, in the bottom of the cabinet behind all the pots and pans, never to come out again. So
Absolutely.
it made me address those things. And I had to really go back and think about, gosh, that did happen. And oh God, I was really in a dark place here. And sometimes, that writing just really provided, like I said, that healing and that
Yeah.
therapeutic place that I thought I was already at. And I wasn't really there.
Yeah.
I wasn't really there. And that was years later where I thought that I was good.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Was there a period of time where you even like questioned God?
Oh,
Question.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What did
As
that what
long
did
as
that
my
look
faith
like
is,
for you? Because baby, you like, I ain't signed up for this. What I do to deserve this?
as long as my faith is, oh, absolutely. I questioned. I was like, well, why me, God? You know,
Mhm.
um, I honor you. I worship you. I praise you. I pray. I go to you for all my questions that I have. I look to you for guidance. And so after all that I'm doing, why are you allowing me to
Absolutely.
experience this? Why are you allowing my children
Hmm.
to experience this? And as I took time to just be with God, He said, because I got something else for you to do.
Mm.
And you can't do it if you don't have a testimony. You can't talk to people about it if you haven't been through it transparently. So it might hurt right now. It's gonna hurt right now, but I have something else in store for you to be and grow into the person that I created you to be. You
Absolutely.
can't stay in that same place and do that. And,
Yeah.
and if, like I said, and if you trust me, if you trust me,
Absolutely.
then I'm gonna guide you through it.
Yeah. How long had you been with your ex husband? Like
Oh
like
gosh,
how young were you when you met? Did
we
you say?
got so we met in, I'm gonna say 1998.
Oh, girl, you're telling your age, sis.
Listen, listen, I don't care nothing about age. I will be 48 in 2 weeks.
Ooh,
And
child.
I'll say
Yes. Yes.
it. 98, we got married in 2000. We divorced in 2008, but we had already been separated for a number of years prior to that divorce.
Hmm. Yeah.
I would, I'm gonna say I was separated mentally.
Yeah.
I was already gone for years prior to that.
Yeah.
But I was still trying to make it work because I believe in the institution of marriage and the vows that I took before God.
Absolutely.
However, when we committed adultery, that means I was free from it. But at that time, again, I respect the institution of marriage. And so,
Absolutely.
still trying to make it work, even though I was mentally, emotionally, completely tapped all the way out.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there a component though to that point that even though there was a piece of you that said, I gotta go, this is not good for me, this is not healthy, I don't like the way it makes me feel, there was still that piece that said, but I gotta stay because of the way that I value marriage and what I want for my children. How do you
It,
get yourself to that place where it's like, no, sis, go. You got to go.
it was more about my children than it was about me. I 100% stayed longer than I should have because of my children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I realized that I was hurting them more than helping them by staying.
Mm-hmm.
Because all they were seeing was us argue,
Absolutely.
us not
Absolutely.
talking to one another, us walking around the house like strangers, walking around on eggshells. There was no love in
Absolutely.
that daily interaction. And
Yeah.
so I eventually was like, you know what? Even after that, and also I learned that he was still, talking to this young lady, and I was like, yeah, I
Be
we'll,
great like
we'll,
that.
yeah,
Go be great.
we'll figure this out. Like me and the kids we'll figure this out. And at the time, we were renting a home, and when I kind of found out about, kind of caught wind of the adultery, I literally started putting into place building my own home. Um, I started building. I did it on my own. I needed a place for me and my kids, my boys. And one day I closed, we packed up all our things while he was at work, and we were gone.
Out. We
Out.
out.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do that with three children.
Mhm.
Now you're a single mom going from some type of support system. What did that look like in terms of progression for you? Okay, so now first step, first day, we got to figure out what we're going to eat. We're figuring out where we're going to stay. I figure out how I love you. While I figure out how I'm trying to heal in the process. What were your priorities in that moment? And then how did you see your way? How did you build yourself and evolve out of that space?
Yeah. So the priorities, of course, were making sure we had shelter and, and all the life necessities. That was number one. But number two was their happiness. Um, I sold a lot of the furniture and things that we had, in order to make sure that I could pay the bills. So for a while, the only thing we had in our home were mattresses for them, beds for us to sleep on, and that was it. Um, we slept, we sat on the floor to watch TV, and they were younger then, so I made it like a movie night. Hey, we're gonna have movie night, and we put a blanket on the floor, and we would sit there and watch movies, while we ate dinner. It was, and they thought that was fun. Like they didn't know any different. And then when I finally told them why we were doing it, they were like, "Really?
For real? Yeah.
That was fun. We thought it was fun. Great. That's all I needed you to know. Because at that age, you don't need to know the ins and outs and the intricacies of what's going on because you can't fix it, and you don't need to mentally involve yourself in those things. Your focus should be school and trying to be a child. That is it. You let me worry about the rest because you can't contribute anything to change the situation. So why bog their mind down with it? Um,
Absolutely.
from there, I started looking for other jobs, to where I could, make more money. I wasn't at the time in school yet until I started working, and I took positions that required me to travel, and that was difficult because, I'm grateful I had the support of my mom, my grandmother at the time, God rest her soul. And they helped a lot during that transition period where I was doing a lot of traveling, but that was helping me build the rapport that I needed with the people to continue to, grow my career. And I got to a point where then I enrolled back in school and worked to get my bachelor's degree. And I wanted them to see that it's never too late to move forward and get additional education and reach the goals that you've set for yourself. Um, Shortly after that, I went and got my master's. And during that same time, I was still applying, for different jobs. And I met my now husband during that time frame. And, one of the jobs that did require me to travel, I was like, this is a job that something I've been wanting to put on my resume for a long time. He said, well, do it. I got them. I got the house. You do it. And I could never repay him for that level of support and understanding and believing in me and
Absolutely.
allowing me to go on a journey that has gotten me to where I am today.
Absolutely.
because not all spouses are going to be
Girl,
that
child.
supportive to say,
Absolutely.
do it. I got this. You do it, you know. Um,
Absolutely.
and so now in turn, I'm in a place where I'm good and he wanted to pursue something and I was able to return the favor and say,
Yes.
do it. I
Yes.
got us right
Yes.
now. You do it.
Awesome.
And
That's
that's a great feeling, you know?
absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So I think about now meeting your husband,
Mhm.
right? And then now you're blending a family.
Yes.
Girl, child. Girl, talk me through this. Talk me
Listen, it wasn't as hard. And again, everybody's situation is going to be different. There are going to be different things that are going to create challenges in each blended family situation. Ours, so so we met. How can I tell the story? So we met in February of 2010, right? By April of 2010, we determined that we were going to be exclusive, dating exclusively. By June of 2010, I'm gonna use the old school term. We were shacking.
girl. What would
Uh,
grandma say?
honey, she was not happy. Anyway, so by then, and then by July of 2010, we got a call from his ex-wife and said, "Hey, you know, our son is running amok. He needs to be with you."
Absolutely.
Okay, so now you think about that. We met in February. By July,
Yeah.
we were introducing another child into the household, and we had not even really been dating a full 6 months. Right?
Yes.
So it was definitely a interesting dynamic.
Yes.
Um, but he's an amazing young man.
Mhm.
Um, People who don't know us would never know that he's my bonus son. Um, we have an amazing relationship. We talk frequently. Um, he also is the father of my grandson, so I'm a Gigi.
Oh.
But yeah, so the blending, the first interaction between, I would say, him and my oldest young king was interesting because there was a lot of alpha, it was alpha male stuff going on right here.
I
You
believe
know,
it.
it was like, who is this dude
What's up?
com- coming to stay and pulling up, coming to stay at my house? Like, why is he here? Kind of situation, and is he staying? So,
Hmm.
we had to have that conversation with them. Um, they had to they had to create their own relationship. It wasn't
Absolutely.
for me to orchestrate. It wasn't for my husband to orchestrate. They had to build their own relationship. Now they are the best. Like they talk literally almost every day, and um, for me, I had to show him a different way of parenting.
Hmm.
Um, he said to me as he's gotten older, Mom, you gave me the structure and the discipline and the love that I always wanted. Um, and I was able to receive that at an age that made a major difference in my life. That makes me feel good because I, you
Absolutely.
know, brought him in. I had to have we had a look in the mirror moment, and he was upset about something. I said, "Listen, sweetie, who you mad at? These decisions you made, so
Hmm.
you can only be mad at yourself. So the
Hmm.
only way you can fix it is that you have to make up in your mind you're going to fix it."
Absolutely.
Um, and so again, just kind of building our relationship, encourage him to stay in contact with his mom and his other sisters. As I told myself, I'm not trying to replace your mom. I'm an,
Absolutely.
I'm an extension of. I'm not trying. She will always be your mother,
Absolutely.
and that's my goal is not to replace. My goal is to add on
Hmm.
to that.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love it. But
Yeah.
what's crazy is because when you think about it, it sounds like it's full of poise and ease and it was smooth. But the reality of it, there was some grit, there was some grind that had to take place. There were some moments where you had to have those difficult conversations. You had to have, like, what am I doing? I really don't know. This is a first for me. And then trusting God to lead you and guide you through the process as you trusted your husband, to help you through that process. Now we have the book. Where's the book? Show me the book. Give it to me. Yes.
Raising Kings.
Talk to me about the book. Yes.
So interestingly enough, one of our other cousins encouraged me to write this book.
Yes.
She was like, "Well, cuz you've done an amazing job with your young kings, and some of your experiences can help some moms out here that are having some challenges with their young kings, their boys." And I was like, "Girl, it's just mama stuff. Like I'm not writing no book." She was like, "No, you really need to write the book," and she wouldn't let it go. So I eventually, wrote the book, and it is a book that really talks about not just the successes of motherhood, but the challenges of motherhood. Areas that I failed miserably, and hopefully sharing that story of where I failed can help another mom. Um, Also sharing the experiences of the successes that I've had, and hopefully that can help some moms. There are a couple of chapters in this book that really mean a lot to me. One is boys have feelings too. That's chapter number one. And it really talks to how a lot of times for us who were raised, as I'm about to tell my age again, that boys don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
And then we create emotionally detached men who at some point attempt to be husbands and fathers
Yes, Lord.
and contributors to our society, and they angry because everything that they're dealing with they held in here, because when they express they're made to be seen weak
Yes.
or not
Yes.
strong,
That's
which is
good.
the exact opposite. So that chapter means a lot to me. I said two, so actually there's three. One of them, the other is um, he's your son, not your man. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that chapter because I just call people to the carpet. It is what it is. He's your son. He's not your man. He does have the responsibility to take care of you. He shouldn't be involved in certain things he can't change or fix. Do not make him go into a man before, a grown man before his time. Just because, you may no longer be in a relationship or no longer be married. He is not the man of the house. He's a boy. Allow him to be a boy, and don't give him those responsibilities too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the
Mm.
very last chapter that I really love so much is the um, my boys wrote the very last chapter of the book.
Oh.
Tell their biggest learning from me, that they learned as me, their mom, and raising them, and how it's helped them to be the young men that they are today.
Love it.
Some of the things that they remembered and shared in this chapter, literally, like I cried reading their chapter because I waited until I got their chapters. I just sent it straight to the editor. I didn't read it first. And when I finally got the edited copy, I was like, oh my gosh, I literally sat in here and cried. Because you
Oh.
don't realize, even though you're going through some things, what you're teaching them, even through the hard times, because life is not always easy. Like I say, life won't be a crystal. My life is not a crystal stair. It's not always going to be that. Um, so allow them to see the challenges in you just as a person
Absolutely.
um, is a growth tool in itself.
Absolutely. I think so too. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. So
Yeah,
as we,
these are my co-authors.
yeah, I love it. Yes. Oh, look at it. So is that the only book? Is there another book?
So we have the book Evolve. This is the anthology that I was in. I'm chapter 8 in this book that really talks about kind of the first part of our story today, about how I, went through the divorce, the attempted suicide, how my boys saved me from myself. That's exactly why I'm still here today, because of their life and what it means to me. And then we have Raising Kings, which I just shared with you, which is my own personal book that I wrote with my sons. And at the editor right now is the Raising Kings Journal. There is a journal or workbook that will go along with this book. It'll be a chapter per chapter, so they'll be equal, with tools and resources and activities that you can do as a mom to continue to learn more about your son, learn more about how to build that, certain type of relationship with them, and teach them some of the key things that are needed to be responsible husbands, fathers, contributors to our society. So that'll be coming out soon, and there will be workshops that'll go along with that. So I encourage you to grab a copy of either of these books. You can do that on my website at iamshumon.com. You can also follow me on all social media outlets at I_am_Shumon. So I would love to connect with you. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to talk with you and connect. This book is not just for married moms, it's for single moms, it's for anybody who's a mom, because married or not, that does not weigh on how you parent. You parent how you parent. And whether you're single or married, this book can definitely help. And I've had people say, "Oh, well, I wish I had it when they were younger." Well, that don't matter either, because there are some young men, I'm just gonna say it, that still need some help, because we have coddled them, hidden them from things, not allowed them to experience life situations.
Yeah.
And some of our young men, unfortunately, are a mess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. True anyhow. It's true anyhow. Do me a favor as we prepare to transition.
Yeah.
Just that mother who is, experiencing a similar journey, whether it's, the thought of trying to leave from a unhealthy marriage situation, has those children, or if they're in the stage where now they're single parenting and they're questioning, do I go back? Do I keep moving forward? I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Y'all don't understand how hard this is. Can you take a moment to encourage that parent? Because it could be a man as well in that same space. Will you encourage that parent for me?
Absolutely. You only have one life to live, and God has granted you new mercies each and every day.
Right.
And you have to take advantage of those mercies that He's given you. Understand that it takes time to look within yourself and find that place to where you value yourself, because no one can value you more than you value yourself.
Absolutely.
Take that time to step away, look within, understand what your goals are, address what you're dealing with right now, and create a plan for yourself. That plan may not always go in the order that you envisioned it, but it's always going to go in the order that God has envisioned for you. Stay in prayer, stay connected with your children, talk to them, be honest with them about certain things, and allow them to be your support and your crutch. Your children are stronger than you believe that they are, and they will carry you. God knows mine carried me through some of the toughest situations of your life, and they will respect you for seeing that you have overcome and made it to the other side. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. You are not alone. There are so many other people who have gone through or are going through. Find that support, someone that you can trust, and knows that if you don't feel like you have anybody else to trust, it's only one other person to trust, and his name is God. So you trust in Him and allow Him to guide you, and listen to what He's trying to tell you, and not create the answer for yourself. Because if you listen and allow Him to answer you, and it may not happen right now, He will give you the answer when it's
Yes.
time.
And will.
So keep going.
Yes, yes. Thank you, cousin. I love you for that.
I love you.
Finally, will you please give your affirmations? Will you take a moment just to affirm yourself? And I want to say this as you think about, your affirmations. You may present as or come across as someone who with extreme confidence, extreme pride, even slightly arrogance, but hearing your story, hey, we're gonna keep it 100. Hearing your story though, people don't understand. They should understand now and empathize. As a woman, the struggle be real, right? And so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so proud of you, but I'm not gonna take any thunder. Cousin, affirm yourself for me, please.
Absolutely. I first want to say I am loved by God. I am strong. I
Yeah,
am confident. I love others. I'm an amazing mom. I'm an
yes,
amazing wife. I have absolutely amazing friends and a circle of amazing people in my life. I am, I'm going to say I am a little bougie, but I have earned the right to be so. I am loved, Um, I'm all these things because that's who God created me to be.
yes. I love it. Well, I want to tell you again, thank you, cousin. I love you. But to our audience, oh my goodness, wasn't that absolutely amazing? How honored I am to be able to have my cousin very special and dear to my heart, join us today to share her journey of success and her story from being a single parent, life after divorce, suicide ideation and her suicide attempt, to blending a family, and now being an amazing author. You all tap in, check in, but know that there is still hope. And until next time, I love you. Have an amazing day intentionally. And always, let's get it. Hey, let's grow. Yeah.
Love you, cousin.